What's good, lovely people? Welcome back to the channel. Hope that you guys are enjoying your beautiful Wednesday. The weather, I love the weather in September. Y'all know it's my favorite month anyway, but because it's my birthday month. But the weather today was gorgeous. So let's go ahead and get into this article because Kelly is going to stay in the blogs. Y'all hear me? If nothing else, between her ex-husband talking about how he didn't want the spotlight, yet he is all over social media and all over the blogs. And now we have Kelly getting a hit with a protective order after allegedly entering a woman's home. Girl, okay, if you don't get somewhere and sat down somewhere, I will say this though, I feel like she's definitely securing her spot for next season. She's securing that peach. But let's get into this article. So, from Us Weekly, the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kelli Ferrell was ordered to stay 30 yards away from a neighbor who claimed she entered her home without permission. Kelly has denied the claims. On September 2nd, Manudula Cash, I hope I said her name right, filed a petition for a temporary protective order against Ferrell. Ferrell, who's 40 years old, owns a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,784 square foot home in Atlanta, Georgia. Cash is an HOA board member. When I read that, I said the Homeowners Association, baby, okay? They are the group of I feel like it's like a PTA for the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like these are the people who are going to um, make sure that the grass is cut, that all the regulations are in order. But baby, if these are not the biggest busybody, nosy Karens, not all, but I haven't heard of one that was not. So anyway, Cash claims on August 9th, quote, Kelly Potter Ferrell aggressively entered my private patio through my private gate in a violent manner. So I don't know how the way she wrote it, you would think that she was coming through with a bulldozer, but let's keep going. Because Kelly ain't but what, 4 foot nothing. Cash said the Ferrell was accompanied by others. Oh, okay, so she was rolling deep. I know that's right. She added this incident occurred after her vehicle was booted for again violating guidelines by parking in a narrow driveway, which is also a designated fire lane. So I'm wondering if Cash called the tow truck company on Kelly for parking in the fire lane. And I wonder why she didn't just park in her own driveway if they were at home. The petition alleged that Ferrell had to be physically restrained and removed during the time when she engaged in bizarre behavior while making a series of erratic verbal threats, some of which were clear and others were unintelligible. She claimed that there was video footage of the incident. So if that does, come out, I'll let you guys know. Cash asked the court to order Ferrell to stop harassing and intimidating her, for her to stay away from her, and for her and her family to receive appropriate psychiatric and psychological services. I'm not laughing because it's not funny. I know that Kelly's been under a lot of stress between opening, her second restaurant, having to deal with, like I said, her ex-husband on one hand claiming that he doesn't want attention, but baby, he clout chasing more than Mr. Simon Gobadia. Okay, he stay in the blogs, and now I'm dealing with this. It's like, well, you already have a lot going on, trying to juggle everything. She's also trying to raise her 4 girls, and then somebody calls for your car to be removed for parking in a fire lane. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like people will push your buttons. So I'm sure she was probably angry about that. The judge granted a temporary protective order, but only ordered Ferrell to stay 30 yards away, most likely since the two are neighbors. A hearing has been set for September 22nd on whether the order will become permanent. And that's another thing too. Like, you don't want to make your neighbors upset because you have to live there. You know what I mean? You know that adage of you don't like poop where you eat. The last people that you want to piss off are your neighbors. The Bible even talks about that. You know what I mean? Like keeping the peace with your neighbors. It's just wisdom. Because, babe, you have to live around these people. Like, you're supposed to, your home is supposed to be your sanctuary and where you go for peace of mind, not worrying about if you have a couple of your friends over and you park in a fire lane that your neighbors are going to, call the cops on you or call the tow truck driver. That's ridiculous. A representative for Ferrell tells us weekly, quote, since the announcement of Kelli's involvement of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Ms. And that's another thing too, right? She probably be mad seeing Kelli on TV. Mrs. Cash has engaged in a concerning pattern of behavior directed at Kelli and her family. Out of respect for all parties, we will not be commenting further at this time. We strongly urge that Kelli's privacy and that of her family be respected, and we caution against the spread of misinformation. So Kelli debuted as a Real Housewives of Atlanta star in season 16. She's also set to return for season 17, which is reportedly in production. Portia Williams, Drew Sidora, Shamia Morton, and others are expected to sign on for another season. Britt Eady, who's also a newbie with season 16, will not be returning. Is Britt? Do y'all know if Britt is still suing Bravo? Oh my goodness! I bet you 100% that Bravo wish that they had kept Kenya and told Britt, last hired, first fired type of thing, because after all of that, and they decided to keep Britt Eady, she sued them for $20 million. I wonder if her lawsuit is still pending or not. As Us first reported, Ferrell has been fighting her ex-husband as a part of his bankruptcy for the past couple of months. He filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy on January 31st with assets totaling $214,198, and his liabilities are $383,231. Kelli asked for her ex-husband's proposed repayment plan be rejected by the court due to him allegedly failing to disclose certain judgments. Kelli's lawyer alleged that he is attempting to hide how much money he makes so that he will not have to repay his debts. And his proposed payment plans do not apply to the entirety of his income that's left over after necessarily living expenses and other financial obligations. So her ex-husband's lawyer adamantly denied the claims in a statement, saying that he's complied fully with all the court requirements under the federal bankruptcy law. It is deeply troubling that instead of seeking resolution through appropriate legal means, Kelli continues to publicly attack him and returning and omitting key facts, seemingly to support a public narrative rather than to pursue genuine resolution, and the battle is still ongoing. So that's, I will say this, right? That is a lot of stress to be under, opening a second location in her Nana's Chicken and Waffle business while still trying to raise her 4 children, and then dealing with an ex-husband who doesn't want to, he'll rather file for bankruptcy than pay his child support and pay what he needs to pay. Again, while simultaneously saying that while he doesn't want the limelight and the spotlight, he's all on the blogs, dancing all in the videos. He's all up and down our social media feed. So he's talking, out of both sides. And that type of double speak is stressful. Combine that with a nosy neighbor who's, a board member on the HOA, and she's upset that she's seeing you on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's stressful for anybody. So I really hope that, one, Kelli is supported by, her friends and her family, because her ex-husband, again, their divorce is still going on, and as we've seen in the past, these divorces can be long and drawn out and, really ugly. That's one of the other reasons why I wish that Kenya was back on the show, because she could, be there to support and give just a helping hand, or at least moral support to Kelli while she's going through her divorce. Because her divorce with Mark Daly, I think it lasted almost longer than their marriage, if memory serves me correctly. But anyway, you guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section about Kelli, getting a restraining order, a protective order put on her by her neighbor, who's a board member of the house the homeowners association. Boy, I tell you what, oh my gosh. I'm thinking like there's so many other things to do with your time than worry about if your neighbor is parking in a fire lane or not. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking to myself, like, how bored do you have to be? How miserable do you have to be clocking your neighbors and where they park and all that stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like if she had people with her, obviously, I'm sure she probably allowed her, her guests to park in her driveway. And she probably, was trying to be hospitable by parking, in the fire lane. And I'm sure that she wasn't going to be there long. But anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.